Welcome back to the podcast. This is going to be technically episode 1 for everybody, but most technically episode 2.
If you follow me on TikTok, shameless plug, mando.tbl.
Listen, we're done with the shameless plug.
We're not done with the shameless plug.
We're done.
We're not.
We're done.
We're not.
Anyway, so it's going to be, episode 1, take 3?
Yeah, it will be episode 1 for the podcast, episode 2 for TikTok, but we've officially changed our names to take 3.
I was just going to say, when you listen to the podcast, you're going to see it as first episode in take 3. Originally, the podcast name was Squad Visions.
Yeah.
And the first episode was going to be Paranormals.
We didn't have the vision nor the squad to get everything working right.
That's very true. So this podcast is going to be basically wrapped around the West Memphis 3.
Yes.
And I'm going to let Mr. Mando over here, or Kemp, whatever you're going by, I'm going to let him have this full force.
All right, so for me, the West Memphis 3 story is right. It's like my boogeyman, right? Because I was in first grade when this happened. It happened in 1993. So I was in first grade when this happened. And it's less than 100 miles from where we live, right? I mean, it happened in West Memphis, Arkansas.
Correct.
So, what's your take on it? Before we get into all this, what's your take on it?
I was kind of hoping I avoided that question.
No, we're doing it.
I don't really have a take on it. Because normally I'm the type of person that's like, oh, there was a murder? All right, let me dive deep into this and let me figure out who was there at the time. What evidence do they have? Who was there during it? Who was there after it? What's suspicious? Who's suspicious? But for this case, for some reason, I cannot sit down and focus on it.
You just can't dive into it and figure it out. But
I think it's because there's too many people that are involved as suspects. And to me, shut up. I will throw something at you. I feel like, I don't know, there's too much.
It's a very publicized homicide case.
And there's
like everybody has their views for the West Memphis 3. And in no shape, form, or fashion am I saying this is my opinion, this is what I believe, what I'm fixing to say. And we can agree to disagree, by all means, because everybody's going to believe whatever they want to believe in for it. I'm basing mine off things that I know, things that I've read in the transcripts of it, and just not, Paradise Lost for it. So, but if you had to pick right now, if you had to say that Damien Echols, Jason Baldwin, Jesse Miss Kelly, are they innocent or are they guilty? Your opinion.
My opinion strictly?
Your opinion strictly.
They're innocent.
Okay. Why do you believe they're innocent?
Because they were the outcast. Or they were named the outcast. Because they wore black clothes and band t-shirts or satanic t-shirts or whatever they were wearing, they were outcasted and they were shown, oh, these are the weird ones, so they would have done this.
Okay, so you just think that whenever it all happened, the West Memphis Police Department zoned in on them and said these are...
One, because they're from a trailer park.
Yeah, okay.
And I mean, I don't like to say this because I have a full passion in law enforcement, but I truly believe that they took the outcast and made it a suspect.
Okay. So, you've never watched the Paradise Lost episodes, right?
No.
There's 4 documentaries, quote unquote, made for these. And I say quote unquote because of this. The documentary Paradise Lost started out as for the little boys. They were going to show the little boys, like how these little boys got killed, right?
Yeah.
And the producers fell in love, not literally, but fell in love with Damien Echols and Jason Baldwin and Jesse Miss Kelly, and turned that whole idea into what it became now. Because it wasn't supposed to be that. It wasn't supposed to be... Sorry, my sinuses. It wasn't supposed to be about the three in prison, right?
Right.
For it. So, are we all in agreement that Hollywood can sway public opinions?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's anything, whether
Anything,
it be a murder case or what a celebrity's wearing. It doesn't matter.
Whatever, right?
What's on TV is what people are going to believe.
All right. So, my opinion is that there are 3 murderers walking around right now free.
Yeah.
Because I firmly believe that those 3 men did it. 100%. You cannot convince me any other way that they didn't do it.
Okay.
For it. All right. And this is the reason why. Okay. Let's start with the Miss Kelly confession. Okay. They said they browbeat him.
Okay.
Right. It's what everybody says. He was in there for 12 hours, is what they're saying. Right.
Okay.
And you've listened to the confession, right?
Yeah.
What's your take on the confession?
I feel like it was coerced. I feel like it was, I don't want to say beat out of him, but from my take on the information that I have received, he was a poor kid. Not like poor kid. You know, he was money poor. And I'm pretty sure they were like any information would, come with a reward. And I think he took that and ran with it. Because from the documentary that you sent me on YouTube, and then the podcast that I have been listening to, it basically says that, his alibis didn't stand up. No, they didn't. Because he had one person say, he was at the trailer park arguing with the police officer.
Correct.
And the police officer like, no, he wasn't there.
Yep.
But then you have another one where it's like, he was at Walmart. Well, no, he wasn't there.
Correct. You know where else they said he was at?
Where?
Said it was in a wrestling event in Marktree, Arkansas.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Which was a week before.
Yeah. But then I've got somebody else telling me that, he was in the interview. Or not interview, but interview. And they were basically asking what time did this take place. And he was saying, it happened at 12 noon.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then they knew that the boys were still in school. So then he was like, okay, well, they were like, did it happen maybe later? And he was like, okay, yeah, it happened at 2. They're like, well, kids are still in school. So did it happen later? Like, come on, tell me the truth. And he's like, oh, yeah, it happened at 4. And then they took that and ran with it.
Okay. So before they got to that point, do you know why they got to that point? Or how they got to that point?
I do not.
He took a lie detector test. Okay? In this lie detector test, they asked him, have you been to Robin Hood Hills? He said no. It's a lie. Have you ever took part in devil worshiping? He said no. It's a lie. Have you ever attended a devil worship ceremony in Turtle Twist area? He said no. It was a lie. Are you involved in the murder of the boys? He said no. It was a lie. Do you know who killed the boys? He said no. It was a lie. That is when they went back in there and they started questioning him more about that. Miss Kelly was never on their radar at all. Damien Echols was to an extent. Now, his parole officer, when this happened, did make the statement, hey, there's a troubled teen in this area, and he's talked about doing things like this before, right? They talked to Damien Echols, and the police were all like, whatsoever, didn't really buy into it, right?
Yeah.
And then they went and contacted the FBI and said, hey, what do we need to do to figure out who did this, right? And the FBI gave them questions of whenever they were talking to potential suspects or whoever that would hint toward their involvement, okay? So the West Memphis Police Department went to Jesse Baldwin's house. I'm sorry, not Jesse, Jason Baldwin's house, okay? And that's where him and Damien Echols were at. They started questioning them about, they asked Damien, how do you think the person that did this, how do you think they felt? Oh, well, they felt powerful for it. They felt like they had control, right? So he was answering it to these questions that they were asking them to say, hey, this could be me, right? To the point where when Jason was answering the questions and the mom came in, she threw a fit and told Jason to shut up. Don't say anything. Damien kept talking. Damien kept saying this. Saying, well, they probably felt like this way. Felt like they had power over it. Right?
Yeah.
So it was kind of on their radar. Right? But they say that there's no... or that they were coerced, right, for Miss Kelly. He wasn't in there 12 hours. When they got there at the police department, they had to wait on his dad to show up so they could sign a release. During this time, there was paperwork being done, everything like that. He was in this interrogation room maybe 2 hours, maybe give or take for it. It wasn't like it was 12 hours just boom, 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 being beat, right?
And that another thing is like, that's why I can't sit here and tell you, oh, yes, they did it, or no, they didn't, because there are factors that point to, well, they didn't do it. And there are factors that point to, why did he answer this question this way if he didn't do it?
But see, I don't believe that there's anything that says these men didn't do it. Like, there is no physical evidence that shows these men did not do this, okay?
Okay.
They gave Damien Eccles a polygraph, right?
Right.
He failed it.
Okay.
Completely failed it. His questions were, at any time Wednesday or Wednesday night, were you at Robin Hood Hills? The boys were killed on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. He said no. It's a lie. Were you present when the boys were killed? He said no. That was a lie. Did you kill those boys? He said no. That was a lie. Do you know who killed the boys? He said no. Lie. Do you suspect anyone of having killed these boys? He said no. It's a lie. When he was confronted about this, he broke down and said, if you will go get my mother, I will tell you everything that happened. They went and got his mother. He talked to his mother. They came back in. He told the police, kick rocks. Right? Mm-hmm. Now, just throwing this out here, are polygraphs 100%? No. Mm-hmm. I'll say they're not 100%. Right? But that is what led them to this. And the thing about them being outcast and rock band t-shirts and all that good stuff, right? Do you know what t-shirt Jason Baldwin, it was either Jason Baldwin or Jesse Miss Kelly had on? A Reba McEntire shirt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's
so it was a Reba McEntire shirt.
Yeah.
That's a real hardcore devil worshiper singer group right there, right?
Yeah.
So it's the media has portrayed these boys, these men now, as innocent, and I don't believe it. Now, I used to. I'm going to tell you right now, I used to believe that these boys were innocent, right? 100% used to believe it until I started doing more research on this, all right? So, Miss Kelly not only confessed to the police officers, right? He confessed 3 times. One of which had his hand on a Bible, and his lawyers were telling him, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it, right?
Yeah.
But he still kept doing it. He's like, no. He confessed when he was found convicted, and they put him in the squad car to take him to prison, he confessed to the officers that took him to prison. They said, I'm glad that this is over with because I need to be punished for what I did. He confessed to them.
Okay, is there a possibility, because I'm not trying to go down a rabbit hole, but this is already leading to a rabbit hole.
Oh, great. I love rabbit holes.
But is it a possibility that he was not mentally there?
That's the other big misconception, right? Was Jesse Miss Kelly a genius? Absolutely not. But he was a functioning adult.
Okay.
He was a complete functioning adult, right? Now, he wasn't the greatest reader, and he wasn't the best in school, but he could build engines. He could work on engines. He had common sense. He knew right from wrong for it. People want to make you believe that he is mentally has a learning disability. Yeah, he's mentally challenged. He's not. He's far from it. Is he a straight A student? Absolutely not. Could he have graduated high school? Absolutely. For it. Another thing that he did, right, is he told his lawyer, and some people don't know this, but he told his lawyer that after the killings happened, he went through this overpass and he had somebody buy him an Evan Williams bottle, and he broke the Evan Williams bottle.
And it was there.
And it was there. His lawyer went with the prosecutor, and the lawyer told the prosecutor that if this whiskey bottle is here, then I will 100% agree that my client did it. And they went to that spot, and boom, the exact Evan Williams bottle that he said was broke was there.
Yeah. I remember hearing that. Can we move the mic more this way? There you go. Okay.
So, what else have you heard on any of this? What have you heard about Damien? Right.
Honestly, nothing.
It's just that he listened to rock bands and and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
All right. Do you know the only time devil worshiping got brought up into this, it wasn't from the police, it was from somebody else?
No.
They were the ones that brought the devil worshiping into this for it.
There was a thing, I can't remember if it was the YouTube video you sent me or if it was the podcast I was listening to, but at some point it did state the way the boys were killed and how, to me, I took it there were two people there.
Mm-hmm.
And one was, I don't remember how the first one was done, but towards the last one, it was less malicious than the first one. Like, maybe I made that up. I don't know. But at some point there was, one of them didn't want to see how it happened. And like, I don't know. I think I just mixed two cases together. I think that's what happened.
So, the Damien Echols is a self-proclaimed devil worshiper.
Okay.
And he can deny it all he wants to now. But Adam Crowley, I think is the name of the guy. He's a Satanist. Okay? He wrote about this guy, why he was locked up. And like he has his book about Satanism.
Yeah.
Right? For it. For somebody to not have any takings with devil worshippers, have you seen him today?
No.
He's covered in that type of tattoos for it. But he's an innocent boy from West Memphis, Arkansas, that just like rock and roll bands. No, what he is he is a arrogant person who wants attention. This whole thing that came back into the news, right? And they were talking about the DNA for it, right?
Yeah.
They were told before they even went for it that they weren't going to get any. It wasn't enough to do it because it showed I don't know, out of 1 million people for it. But if the defense attorneys, and you hear them all the time, and you even hear all three of the boys, that we've got this DNA evidence that will make it to where we're not guilty, right? Then why'd you take an Alford plea? I can tell you why you took an Alford plea, okay? Because the only two people that were going to get a retrial was Damien Echols and Jason Baldwin. And the state would have flipped Jesse Miskelly on them.
Yeah.
And Miss Kelly would have buried him on the stand for it. But if there's this DNA evidence and stuff for it, where's it at?
So Jesse's walking free?
No, all three of them are walking free. All three of them took an Alford plea in 2011 and got out. And it's where they could proclaim their innocence for it, but were still found guilty. If you didn't kill three young boys,
I wouldn't take the rap for it.
Exactly.
If I know for a fact that I didn't do it, I wouldn't take an Alford plea.
Exactly.
Didn't one of them try to write a book?
He scammed them. Jason Baldwin got on one of these social media things and took people for $30,000 because he was going to write a book about everything. And it's been 6 years ago.
Yeah.
He ain't done it. They're con artists.
How old were they when all of this happened?
18, 17 years old in that frame for it.
Okay, so they're like mid-40s,
oh, yeah,
early
absolutely.
50s.
Absolutely. And they're living a lavish lifestyle. Damien Echols is, anyway.
Didn't they get a pension?
From it. I don't know if they did or not, but they're making money off of this case. They're making money off the blood of these three boys. And they're the killers. You will never convince me that they're not the killers. You will never convince me of that. Right? Damien Echols, on the stand, his alibis kept on getting destroyed by the prosecution.
Yeah.
And they were even asked, the prosecution even asked, are you just trying to change your alibi to make it fit the narrative? And he goes, yeah, I am.
At least you're honest about something.
And he said it on the stand. He told the prosecutor, trying to change it, right?
You're
So
lagging really bad on TikTok.
Damien Echols confessed to a boy that he killed those boys. Okay,
Yeah.
the police gave that man a lie detector test because he went and said, "This is the boy that testified against him, right?"
Okay.
He passed that polygraph test
Flying
twice.
colors.
Flying colors. That Damien Echols told him that they killed that boys. Right?
Okay, so if they have one person...
And I ain't even got to the damning evidence that wasn't even put in trial because the prosecution forgot to put this in trial, and they just said, you know what, I think we got enough to convict him anyway for it. This is the reason why the West Memphis 3 don't want a retrial, because the prosecution will put this into evidence and they're screwed.
So if they have one person testifying, not necessarily a witness, but if they have one person testifying Damien, why are they walking free?
Because they took an Alfred plea.
It shouldn't matter.
What
If
happened?
you did it, you did it.
Yeah, absolutely. They took this Alfred plea because during this time there were some people that were trying to run for political office, and they didn't want this. If it come through and by chance they lost, it would have looked bad on them. Okay, because they were running for some Senate or whatever for it. So the prosecutors weren't the one that pushed for the defense or for the plea. It was their defense attorneys. Their defense attorney went out to eat with the prosecutor and said, "Hey, look, can we work out a deal?" It wasn't the state of Arkansas that said, "Hey, take this deal." It was their lawyers that came in and said, "Hey, let's make a deal for it." And let me tell you why. This is the reason why they took this deal. In my opinion, all right, they were going to lose that retrial because there were shoelaces found at the scene that did not belong to the boys. Okay?
Okay.
They go to Jason Baldwin's house. They find a pair of muddy boots, okay, with brand new shoelaces on it.
You're starting
new.
to convince me, okay?
And I ain't even got to the heart of it.
You're starting to convince me because I have a friend who knows about it, and she's been down this rabbit hole since 2010. Since she told me.
Yeah.
And she believes the complete opposite.
Yeah, and most people, some people do because of the movies.
Yeah.
Hollywood can twist anything,
Yeah.
and that's what they did.
That's for sure.
You got celebrities out there that back these boys and say they're innocent, and they're backing killers.
Yeah.
All right, and this is proof. For me, this is proof. They found a necklace in Damien Echols' house. They tested it. There was blood on it. Blood from the victim. Stevie Branch's blood was on that necklace that was found in his house. How the hell did his blood get on that necklace? And they didn't even get to put that. They didn't even put that out in the trial. That's the piece of evidence that the prosecution forgot and said, "Oh, well, hell, we got enough to get him anyway." That's what the defense was worried about on this retrial, because his blood was on a necklace that was in Damien Echols' house. You can't argue that. You will never convince me that these three men did not kill those boys, and they're walking around now thinking, "Hey, we're innocent." Bullcrap. You're manipulating people. Damien Echols is a manipulator, 100% manipulator. He was a troubled teen. Okay. He hit a boy, okay, at school, scratched him or whatever, and started trying to suck out his blood for it.
So he's a vampire.
He killed a Great Dane. Now, granted, the dog was was sick. Okay, the dog was very sick for it. The dog needed to be euthanized. Okay, but he beat this dog to death. There's witnesses saying that he beat this dog to death, cut out his intestines and ripped it out, and even said that I was trying to step on this dog's head to make the eyes pop out.
Oh my God. Well, you know, all killers, they pretty much start off small. House mouse, cats, birds, dogs, and then they eventually turn into humans.
Yep. All three of them changed their alibis, right?
Several times.
Several times. Jason Baldwin's defense wouldn't even let him talk because they seen that how bad Echols and Miss Kelly's alibis got ripped apart. So they didn't give an alibi. They didn't testify at all for it. they went off the basis of they were attacking my kid because he's different.
Yeah.
Jason Baldwin had a damn mullet. You know who else had a mullet back in 1993? Every freaking person in America. Every person in the South wore a damn mullet because that's what most country stars wore for it.
See, my thing is, like, with the, what is it, the judicial system?
Mm-hmm.
My thing is if you have all of the evidence and you have polygraph tests where one person failed every single question.
Yeah, and Baldwin wouldn't take it.
Exactly. So you have 2 polygraph tests where every single question was failed, but then you have one person who everything was told to and passed every single question. Granted, lie detector tests are not always right.
And you can't use them in court unless the defense brings it up.
But you have all of this evidence. How? Just because they took an Alfred plea. I bet you to this day that's not offered to other people.
It's a very rarely used plea deal.
Exactly.
Is what it is. These boys pled guilty to the homicides.
So why are they out walking?
Time served. They pled guilty but maintained their innocence, and they were granted time served because the people that were over this trial were trying to get into a political office and didn't want a black eye and didn't want it drug out. And they were like, you know what, it's been 18 years, however long it's been, and the state of Arkansas is over it for it.
Oh, so just because 3 guys went into prison for 18 years for a crime that they didn't commit, so that's okay?
And like I said, I firmly believe that they did it.
Those 3 boys lost their lives.
Absolutely.
That doesn't end.
And the bad thing is that some of this Paradise Lost movie crap that they got going on has even convinced some of those relatives that those boys didn't do it. Yeah.
There are 3 kids who lost their lives.
And I'm basing everything that I know about on facts. And if people don't want to believe me, you can get on www.callahan.8k.com and you can read the transcripts from the trial for it.
But my thing is there's 3 boys who died in
who lost their lives.
1993?
Yeah, May 5th, 1993.
Okay. Where would they be today had they not been killed?
Correct.
What would they be?
Correct.
What profession would they be in? How many kids would they have?
But
they will never know because these 3 guys killed them and got to walk away from it.
Yes. Damien
just
Eccles.
because... I'm so sorry.
I'm in
it now. I'm in it now.
They
spent 18 years in a prison system, and just because they spent 18 years, and they're like, oh, well, the evidence doesn't show anything, or politics this and politics that, it's, oh, well, the state of Arkansas is over it now. Okay, so is the state of Arkansas over the fact that those 3 boys lost their lives?
Once again, if I was there, hell no, we going to trial.
Right, we gonna ride this out.
We're going to swing for it. And if I lose, I lose. But by God, we're going to swing for it. It's going to be done with for it, right? Damien Eccles was spotted that night coming out of Robin Hood Hills with his then girlfriend covered in mud.
Why? Why were you covered in mud?
Why were you there, right? Why were you there for it?
Because wasn't one of their alibis they were with their girlfriend and...
He said that he was on the phone talking to girls. And every girl that they interviewed and asked them, they were like, "No, we didn't talk to him. We hadn't
heard from him.
Yeah, we ain't heard from him. Yeah, their whole alibis fell apart. 100%. All their alibis fell apart. 100% it fell apart.
Listen, let's sign a petition and let's get this trial kicked back.
You can't.
What?
You can't. They won't do it because they're still found guilty through the state of Arkansas. They're still considered found guilty for it. So, and they were released on time served.
I'm trying.
So they closed the book, per se, but left it open in case if something new comes out, they could do it with. But they knew. They all knew that the state was not going to re-enter it, right? They're not going to have a retrial for it. They got the 3 that did it, and they're not going to get a retrial, and they know it. Damien Eccles, right? This is my opinion. Damien Eccles is you didn't hear from him, and then boom, now he's popped back up. Oh, money must have got tight. Money
There
must
it
have
is.
got real tight.
That's the one.
And now, boom! All of a sudden, now we're back in the media and stuff for it. I would be ashamed if I was Johnny Depp to have a damn matching tattoo with the killer.
You know, and I saw something about Johnny Depp, and I didn't go deep into it, but now it makes sense. But here's my thing. Here's just my opinion. My opinion is this case alone shows people that if I kill 3 boys, okay, and there's 3 other people involved, and our alibis don't hold up, and we run around the system a couple times, and just because you have DNA evidence, I can serve 18 years and get out on an Alfred plea. That, to me, that's what this case shows.
And see, like I said earlier, it's the smoking gun, right? Everybody said the smoking gun is they have new evidence to prove that these boys are innocent.
So where is it?
They were released in 2011, 2012, 2011, because I went to Afghanistan in 2012. So they were released before I went to Afghanistan. It is 2022. That is 11 years. Mm-hmm. If they had this damning evidence that these 3 men didn't kill them,
it should have been taken care of in 2011.
Where's that?
Or 2012. That's when it should have been taken care of. But instead, here they are.
Yeah,
still walking around West Memphis, probably.
No. Miss Kelly's the only one that lives in West Memphis. All the other ones are gone.
Still, it's the fact that they have the choice.
They're walking around with celebrities. They're rubbing elbows with celebrity. So
because you killed 3 boys, took an Alfred plea, and said I'm guilty but I'm innocent, you get to rub elbows with celebrities, and you're making all this money.
Yeah, I failed the polygraph. My friend that was there with me confessed 4 times. I confessed to somebody else who passed the polygraph. I had a necklace in my house that had Stevie Branch's blood on it. It had Jason Baldwin and Stevie Branch's blood on this necklace.
That right there alone should have been
so
enough.
that put Jason Baldwin and Stevie Branch and Damien Eccles all on the same spot.
And that should have been enough.
At one point in time.
That should have been enough.
Now there's where this was at, right? They were found in the water.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. All right. So most people would think that water is going to wash away evidence, right?
Yes.
The police came back and did a liminal test. I think I said it right. And it was a new thing, right? Mm-hmm. It was 1993. It was a new thing. It's something that police use now all the time. But in 93, it was new. They sprayed the scene, covered in blood. Everything, all the blood residue was still there. They didn't bring it up in court because it was a new thing. The defense attorneys were going to bring it up. Was going to bring up the no blood at the crime scene, and the judge advised them, remember, when you open this Pandora box, that gives the prosecution the opportunity to bring in the liminal test. And the defense wouldn't open it up because they knew. They knew because they had the results that there was blood at that crime scene. That it wasn't just washed away and no evidence of anything happening there, that it was there. There was cuts on these kids, right? And people are like, oh, it's turtles. It's turtles that did that. I've lived here my whole damn life. I've hunted my whole damn life in these woods around here.
I've saved a couple turtles.
Right. I've never seen somebody to have cuts that looked like turtle bites, right?
Yeah.
It was, and they were knife wounds. They weren't turtle bites. They were knife wounds.
There's a difference in, a turtle scratched me or a turtle bit me, than gashing wounds.
Yeah. And they found the knife in the pond. And everybody's like, oh, it was so lucky they found the knife in the pond. It was in behind Baldwin's house. And they find a knife. That a expert testified that the serrated blades on this army knife matched the cuts on the kids.
Okay, but you also have to be able to debunk that. Because how many knives do you have that somebody else has?
Okay, absolutely.
That's the only thing that would debunk that.
Yeah, absolutely. But just so happened that knife was in behind my house.
Exactly. It's not often.
Yeah.
That's
just
not
so happy.
Often.
Boy, they sure are some unlucky some bitches.
Mm-hmm. That's
right?
not often.
it's mind blowing.
When I first walked into this and we started this, I was sitting there thinking, okay, I'm going to be able to counteract him.
Everything. Yeah.
I'm going to be able to say, well, this happened and this happened. But now that you're sitting here and you're telling me everything that has taken place, I'm on your side.
Exhibit 500, right? When they were found guilty, the defense attorneys brought in Exhibit 500. It was a 500-page document of Damien Echols, okay, from his doctors. That's a leaf blowing outside.
Oh. It sounded like it was over there.
All right. Damien Echols was a troubled teen. Damien Echols had been taken to Little Rock for St. Vincent because he was mentally unstable. He told one of the doctors down there that if you don't keep me in this building, I'm going to hurt people. I have a spirit inside of me. I talk to demons. Right? All this was released because the defense attorneys did it hoping that they could play off, hey, he's mentally unstable, they won't put him to death. And the state of Arkansas said, screw you, we're going to kill you because you killed 3 boys for it. All this is documented for it. He threatened his family. He told his dad he would eat him and slice his mother's throat. Or stepdad, whoever was his family. For it. They went to Oregon. He gets into a fight in Oregon up there, and he tells his parents, I want to go back to Arkansas. And then they come back to Arkansas, and then he kills these boys once he gets back in Arkansas a few months later. But his family took him away from West Memphis and moved him to Oregon to try to help him for it, and he come back.
That's disgusting.
The only person that you've not heard of since 2011 is Miss Kelly. Miss Kelly's won't talk to anybody. No interviews, no nothing.
Because he's guilty.
The
why would he?
Jason Baldwin, right, made a Twitter or Facebook whenever they were down in Little Rock protesting, right? And Damien Echols was down there, and they had all his supporters. Damien never told the other 2 about it. Jason found out about it and was like, boy, I sure do wish he'd have told me he was down here and we could done this because I would have liked to help push the cause. It's not about them. It's about him. He's an egotistic psychopath. And that's exactly what his documents from the medical profession says. And he says he's going to kill people. He said it. In one of his yearbooks when he was in elementary school, right? Or in junior high, whatever. A kid wrote underneath his picture, devil worshiper. He had been studying the arts of devil worshipping since he was 8 years old.
So, there's a wasp in here. I guess with them being in the eye of the media, because, once a killer, like a serial killer, gets the taste of blood, they want it again.
Yeah.
It's a thrill.
It's a thrill for them.
And once they get it that first time, they're going to continue until they die.
And see, I don't think they're going to kill anybody else.
That's what I was fixing to get
at. I think they are getting their thrill because they've convinced millions of people they didn't do it.
So they've gotten the ultimate thrill because they've killed these 3 people and they are continuously living a lie by saying, I'm guilty, but I'm innocent.
Yeah, I didn't do it, but I'm going to plead guilty. I'm sorry. Fry me. Put me to death. Because the only person that I care about knows if I did it or not is the man upstairs. And if I can stand to the man upstairs and know I didn't kill it and that the state put me down even though I was innocent, hey.
I'm home.
I'm home. I'm good. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm 100% with you.
Earlier I told you about Damien scratching the kid trying to suck his blood.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So he sat there and his ex-girlfriend at the time, I don't know. Anyway, he grew his nails out really long. And he got into a fight with this boy and tried to claw his eyes out and everything. So, I mean, like, he has a history of violence. Like, it is a well-documented history of violence. One of the people on TikTok, I asked a while ago, what do you think? What do you think? Do you think they're innocent or do you think they're guilty? And I was like, look, this is my opinion. My opinion's my opinion. I base my opinion off things that I know and the facts that I believe in. But, if you think they're innocent, then tell me why you think they're innocent. And we'll have an adult conversation No yelling, no griping, no cussing. We'll have an adult conversation, and you can try to convince me otherwise for it. And one of the guys on TikTok just put guilty. Yeah. Like they believe it. And I do. I believe that. I believe that they're guilty. Like 100% believe that they're guilty.
After listening to everything that you have told me, I'm one to go off of evidence. I'm one to go off...
The facts are the facts.
Yes. Yeah. Because evidence is evidence. Because I could sit here and put my fingerprint on this table and tell you all day long I haven't been here.
Yep.
But that fingerprint is going to prove that I was here.
That I was in this building.
Exactly.
And they can't dispute it, right?
No. And when you told me about the necklace with the blood on it, you can't tell me that is
Yeah. You tell me tell me how Stevie Branch's blood got on that.
You can't.
That necklace. And they're lucky.
He killed him.
They're lucky that the prosecution didn't put that in the trial. They're lucky the prosecution at the time were idiots and forgot to put that in the trial. That's the reason why they did not want a retrial. They didn't want a retrial because Jesse Misskelley was not getting a retrial. That he was done because the basis for the retrial were only for Damien Echols and Jason Baldwin. So Misskelley didn't get the privilege of having another retrial for it, right? So his sentence was done. He was in the system, right? They were worried that that the state was going to convince him to testify against these two boys, and they would have, because they said, "Look, man, you did 18 years for it. You testify on our behalf." Yeah, they would have testified against him, and they would have said, "Look, man, you done 18 years. You testify, we'll cut you a plea deal, and you'll get time served." That's what the state does, right? That's what they do for it, and they didn't want that evidence to get brought in about the necklace, because, like I said, you can't argue that.
No.
Why do you have a necklace in your house that has not only Jason Baldwin's blood on it, but also Stevie Branch's?
Yeah,
it has it.
You can't defer from that. You really can't. Because it would be one thing if, like, oh yeah, that's my best friend, and he cut his finger and I forgot to clean my necklace. That's different.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't know if they knew them before this. Like, did the three boys who did it know?
They were all friends together. Okay. Wait, what are you talking about? Like the three boys that they get killed, or the?
Yeah, the three boys that they killed.
No, they didn't know.
So you can't explain why these three kids' blood is on the necklace.
Yeah, they didn't know it for it. And like I said, he testified, or he admitted. Damien Echols told people he did it. He told somebody he did it. Dude took 2 lie detector tests and passed them. Passed them with flying colors. Saying that's exactly what Damien told me for it. And whenever the police were questioning him after the FBI told him, hey, ask kind of questions like this, like he was giving details of the crime scene that was not released.
So, I know, lie detector tests, they can't be used in court. So why didn't they use this witness?
He testified.
Okay, so why are they still walking free?
The Alfred plea.
Fuck that Alfred plea.
It's the state. It's the state. It's part of the judicial system. They took a plea that said...
So we're corrupt.
They took a plea that said, I'm guilty. I'm going to plead guilty, but I'm going to maintain my innocence.
But you have a man who is going out, took this Alfred plea, going out, and still confessing that he did it. Why is he still walking around?
What are you talking about, confessing that he did it?
He told this guy what he did.
He did that in 93.
Oh.
He told the guy in 93 that he did it. Oh. And the guy took a polygraph test for the police department and passed it, saying that, yes, Damien Echols told me he killed these 3 boys, that they were a part of it. That is what happened for it.
So they got away with murder.
Yeah, well, it's still on their record, but for the most part, people believe that they're innocent.
Like the TV show, How I Got Away with Murder. Like, they did it.
I firmly believe they did it. And look, I told you earlier, and I told them earlier, and in this podcast, I used to believe that they were innocent, right? Mm-hmm. When I became a police officer, I thought that they were innocent. I did. And I was like, hey, I don't want to mess up like what the West Memphis Police Department did. I want the facts are the facts. I don't want to jump to nothing, right? And I firmly believed that they were innocent. But I kept researching because I'm intrigued by crime events, ghosts, things like that. I have my mind, I like to learn, for lack of a better term. And I kept digging, I kept doing research. And everything pointed to them. Everything pointed that it was them. And they want to blame Terry Hobbs. They want to blame the stepdad.
See, and when we first started talking about it, that's where I was at.
Yeah, it was the stepdad. Stepdad did it. The stepdad did it.
Because that's where I was at.
Yeah, stepdad did it.
I can't... It blows my mind. It truly blows my mind.
I told you before we started this that I was going to change your opinion on it. I did. I told you I was going to change your opinion. And once again, it's my opinion. You'll never convince me that they didn't do it. You will never convince me that those three men.
You're like, we can debate. We can debate.
We can debate it all we want to, but until you take my evidence that I wrote down to have this podcast, and you can debunk them failing a polygraph twice, okay? Jesse Misskelley, Damien Eccles both failed a polygraph. Baldwin refused to do a polygraph for it. Damien Eccles told the prosecution, "Yep, I'm trying to change up my alibi to make it fit the narrative." Until you can convince me and you prove facts,
you can't,
that they didn't do it, then I'll believe you. But you cannot prove it. You cannot prove it. Jesse Misskelley put his hand on the Bible and said, "I killed those boys. I was there when they killed those boys for it." As his defense attorney is screaming at him, "Don't do it. Don't confess. Don't confess. No. Shut up. Misskelley, shut up. Jesse, shut up. Shut up."
Did it anyway.
And he still said it. Because he said, "I got to get this off my chest."
Well.
But you can't do the Alford plea without all three of them. You had to convince Misskelley to take this plea, and then he fell off the face of the earth.
Of course he did.
He's not anywhere to be found.
Because
he won't talk to nobody.
Because he knows he did it, and he knows that if he takes this Alford plea, he gets to walk, and so does everybody else. But I feel like Jesse... Because when we first started this, I was, they forced Jesse to say what he said.
Yeah, they browbeat him.
Yeah. But now knowing everything, it's like Jesse wanted to confess. Jesse wanted to say, yes, this is what I did, this is how it happened, and this is what was said, pretty much. But the other two were like, no, let's not do that, we'll take a plea, yeah, we're guilty, but we're innocent.
Now, when we first started talking about this, before we started the podcast and TikTok, shameless plug, mando.tbo, you mentioned Bojangles.
Yeah.
All right? The black man in Bojangles.
Yes.
Right? You mentioned that.
Yes.
For it. There was an elite special forces guy, maybe?
It's that tile.
There was a elite special forces guy that went to Robin Hood Hills and went to Bojangles. He crossed it. It couldn't be done. But this was an elite special operations guy that the police department reached out to do this. Because in West Memphis, Marion area, there is and most people don't know this, but there is a group called T1G that trains special forces, SWAT teams. So you've got Green Berets, Navy SEALs, pararescuemen down there in Marion, West Memphis, all year long training down there for it. It's one of their training sites. They recruited somebody to go run this, and he did it, right? I'm not saying he didn't do it. I'm not saying he didn't do it, because he did do it. But he's a special guy. He's special operations, and he can do it. You're trying to tell me some Joe Blow from the street who had a broken arm? They said the dude had a broken arm for it. Went through there. He was a homeless guy. Because where the woods that was in that area between Bojangles and all that other stuff, because there was a lot of woods. It wasn't just Robin Hood Hills and then Bojangles. I mean, it was some difference in there. Like, the dude lived in the woods. They said he walked back into the woods. It's a homeless guy. He had a broken arm.
So it was legit a coincidence.
Yeah, he had a broken arm. You gonna kill 3 boys with a broken arm?
No,
And they want to make this as one man. They want to say, "Hey, this is one person that did it, the Bojangles." The other 2 boys aren't going to run.
There's no physical way that it only could have been one person. I mean, there's a physical way, yes, but it would have taken a lot longer. Because you've got 3 little boys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They know stranger danger. You know what I mean? Like, they know scream and run, pretty much. But there's no way that only one person killed all 3 of those boys.
At some point in time, your primal instincts are going to kick in.
Yeah.
And you're going to fight or flight. Mm-hmm. Right? You're going to be put in fear. Right? So you got 3 people. You got 3 young boys. One would fear. Mm-hmm. Right? You would think one would fight. Mm-hmm. And you would think one would run. Mm-hmm. That increases your odds.
Yeah.
You got a 66% survival rate if I run. You got a 1 in 3 chance that I can get away if I run from one person. They can't catch us all.
Right.
But they were all killed and they were all placed in the same area for it.
And
they weren't shot.
You wouldn't be like with a guy with a broken arm. I can't even make it work. Like, I can't even make that a scenario because it's not possible. Because you've got 3 little boys, like you said, fight, flight, or fear. Yep. And then you have a man who has a broken arm. Okay, that cuts your chances in half. Because you're down an arm.
Yeah.
It cuts the chances completely. And there's no possible way that one man with 2 arms killing 3 boys, or a man with 1 working arm and a broken arm killing these 3 boys by himself.
And Miss Kelly even admitted to chasing one of the boys down.
So they ran.
And beating one. But he would not allow Damien or Jason to cut his face. He admitted to it. Said, I did not want them to cut his face. Did not want them to cut him. So he beat him. He admitted to that.
That's what the
and
the
one boy
was. That's what that was.
And one boy did not have any cut marks on it. So they were all placed in the water, and it was turtles. Why does one not have bites?
Right. If it was turtles,
why
does one not? Wow.
Once again, I firmly believe they did it. And I can debate this with anybody. It doesn't matter who. And that, I hold no prejudice against anybody that thinks that they're innocent for it. I don't even hold a prejudice against Damien Eccles, Jason Baldwin, or Jesse Miss Kelly, right? Mm. Like, I wouldn't just be like, oh, you're a baby killer, or anything like that to them and stuff. Like, if they wanted to talk, convince me. Yeah. Convince me that you didn't do it. Because you can't. You can't argue the facts that I know were presented in the case and one that wasn't presented and that they were worried about getting out. And that's the necklace for it. Now, some evidence was lost and that was mishandled, but then they found it. But where's the smoking gun at? The defense attorneys, hey, we got DNA evidence to show my clients didn't do it.
Where is it?
It's 2011. It's 2022.
Where is it?
COVID kill it?
Not COVID.
Where's it at? Where's this evidence?
Listen. Don't even bring COVID into this because they had this smoking gun in 2011. COVID didn't show up until 2020.
So where's it at?
So what happened in between 2011 and 2020?
Yeah, what happened? Where's it at?
Listen, I hope they listen to this podcast. I really do. Because where is it at? Where's it at?
Where's it at?
That's what where's it at? Because even though they took the Alfred plea, if you have this smoking gun that you swear up and down is going to put them behind bars for the rest of their lives, why haven't you shown it yet?
Yeah. Why would you break down crying and you say, if you let me talk to my mother, I'll tell you everything. And then he talks to his mom, and tells the police go kick rocks. Right? And they'll say, oh, well, you don't have to tell. And you're right. You are absolutely right. You are innocent until proven guilty.
Correct.
And you were proven guilty in the court of law. Not once, but twice.
Correct.
Because Jesse Misskelley was found guilty. And then they tried Damian Eccles and Jason Baldwin together. So all three people were found guilty. And there were two separate trials. So that meant 24 people. Well, I don't know if it's 24 because I don't know if they did the same jurors for both. I would assume they didn't.
Right.
Right. But
that'd be kind of prejudiced.
yeah, 24 people said you're guilty. 24 people were shown the same facts.
So if you've
said you were guilty.
If you've got 24 people, so that's two different juries. If you've got two different juries saying these three boys are guilty, why did you allow them to sign an Alford plea?
Because they were done with it.
They shouldn't have been done with it.
I get it, but it's
those boys were done with those three children when they left them in the creek.
I get it, and I love your passion. I love it.
God.
But I get it. But that is the judicial system that we have.
It's screwed.
It's not perfect.
No.
By no means is it perfect, but it's all that we have.
I understand that, and I get where you're coming from, but three grown men should not be walking around this world saying, I'm guilty, but I'm innocent. When you have 24 people.
Because they're claiming their innocence. They said, yeah, I'm taking an Alford plea, so I'm pleading guilty based on the Alford plea, but portraying that still claiming that I'm innocent.
But you have 24 people, two different juries, saying you're guilty.
And it may not have been two different juries. Don't quote me on that.
It doesn't matter.
It could have been the same 12 people that listened to Jesse Misskelley and listened to Jason and Damian. I would think it wouldn't be because of like what we said, prejudice.
Yeah.
I would think it would be 12 different people.
And even if it wasn't 12 different people, you still have one significant jury saying you're guilty. Okay, so let's fast forward some. Okay, let's say this happened in 2020.
All right.
All right. So this all happened in 2020. Okay, and you've got two different juries. Okay, and both juries are saying you're guilty. Please tell me the judge would say, well, you signed an Alford plea.
It's a possibility.
I understand that, but what are the chances?
It's very low.
Exactly.
But what this was is it was because it was so televised. It's one of the most known cases in America.
Yeah.
You talk about the West Memphis 3, most people will know about it, and they have an opinion for it. And a lot of people believe that they're innocent. I don't. Once again, I don't. And for everybody that's joining in now on TikTok, I don't believe that they're innocent for it. I mean, there's too much evidence that says, explain the necklace. Why was Stevie Bridges' blood on your necklace?
Yeah.
Explain the shoes. Explain the brand new muddy, or the shoes, the bloody, or not bloody, but the muddy shoes in Jason Baldwin's house with brand new shoelaces on it. Explain the Evan Williams bottle that Jesse Misskelley told his lawyers that after I went and had somebody buy me a bottle of Evan Williams, went to this overpass and broke the bottle and stuff on it, and they found it. They found the bottle. Explain it. You can't. You can't explain
the fact that
you can't
he
explain
was there.
it. Yeah, you can't explain the fact that Damian Eccles is a well-documented violent history as a young teenager for it, and him saying that he had a spirit living inside him that was a female, that he talks to demons. You can't explain it. But they were innocent. They were innocent, and the media jumped on it because we're a bunch of poor old country boys down here that just, we still believe in witches. No, we don't. We believe in evil.
Yeah.
And the evil are the three sons of bitches that are walking around right now scot-free.
Yes, sir.
It's 100 miles from where we live. Like I said, this is my boogeyman. I grew up and my family would tell me, hey, make sure, stranger danger type thing.
Yeah.
You think of the Night Stalker, right? Like in the 70s or whenever it was, right? Think of the Night Stalker.
You lost me.
It's a serial killer.
Okay. I know the golden.
Okay, think of that. Think of the Zodiac.
Oh.
Think of the Zodiac, right? The Zodiac killer. And you're telling your kids, hey, be careful, right?
Yeah.
This is my Zodiac. This is my Zodiac killer for it. They're guilty. You can't prove it. And once again, anybody that's watching or listening, you know, tell me if you think they're innocent. Explain to me why you think they're innocent. And I swear to God, if your only excuse is, well, in Paradise Lost, don't even talk to me.
If you can't show facts and evidence and this, that, and the fourth that didn't come from that documentary.
If you cannot look at the transcripts.
And you know, that's funny.
And sit there and tell me this is the reason why.
That's funny that you said that. Because the person that brought up the Bojangles also brought up the documentary.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, fun fact, people. Hollywood make a living out of telling stories and everything. The Blair Witch wasn't true. All right? The Blair Witch was a damn movie for it. That somebody wrote a script. Documentaries have scripts. You can turn any documentary into whatever you want to.
Yeah.
There was a thing called Super Size Me about how hard fast food is on your system. Now, granted, it is hard on your system and everything, but they can manipulate it into whatever they want to do it. People done documentaries on 9/11 that said that no airplane hit the building, and there's a freaking picture of a 747 going into this building. So you can take documentaries and turn them into whatever you want to. You can direct it into whatever you want to. I can take a story, and I can make it into whatever I want to make it into.
Yeah.
It's the power of the media.
Yeah, and the words and how you say it.
Right, and I mean that's to get into, not to get anything too political, but you can think of the ways that some things are portrayed versus other, and it can be the exact same thing. You can have two different groups with two different opinions at the same site protesting everything. One can be peaceful and one can be violent, but they're going to make one out more than the other. Even if both of them are peaceful or both of them were violent, one of them is going to be the good one, the other one's going to be the bad one. It's no matter who you are, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter which party it is or whatever. Somebody can make the other one look worse than what it really is.
Correct.
And that's the same thing. I can make them look innocent. I can make them. I can sit here and tell you, well, you know, he was 17 years old and he didn't understand his rights. He didn't know what was going on. I can portray that to you because people have done that to you. Till you look at the facts.
But here's my thing. At 17 years old, hell, at 12 years old, you know right from wrong.
You know right from wrong. Absolutely.
I mean, Riley, how old's Riley?
6.
She knows right from wrong.
Yeah.
And going and killing 3 boys? And you want to tell me you don't know right from wrong? That doesn't make sense.
But it wasn't that they don't know right from wrong, right? It's the fact that they didn't do it. They said they didn't do it. Miss Kelly told him that he was in the trailer park helping control a situation that was going out of hand between a dispute between neighbors.
Okay,
Get the fuck out of here.
Why, if that's true, let's say that's true, okay? Let's say he was there. Why would an officer say no, he wasn't?
And he firmly knew that. He's like, I know he wasn't there. I know the Miss Kellys.
Yeah.
I'm there all the time.
No. It don't make sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Oh, God.
I got you fired up.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to do more true crime stuff. Like I want to talk
I'm
about
all down for that.
About serial killers.
I'm all down for it.
But this one hits home. And
this
like
one's a little too close to home.
They sit there and they...
And you know what's funny? Is because they built a hotel kind of right where it happened, I'm pretty sure. And every time I pass through West Memphis...
You think about it.
I look at that hotel. And it's not that I think about the crime itself. I think about a car ride that I took one time going to Memphis with 2 of my really good friends. And I remember her telling me this story. And me just not believing it. Because one, I'd never heard of it. Mm-hmm. And it's just, it amazes me. Because now that I'm older and I know stuff like this now, it just amazes me that X amount of years ago, I was being told this story and had no idea it was real.
I had no idea it was real.
And how close it was.
Yeah, or even like your friend, right, that was telling you about this, firmly believe that they're innocent. But what did they base everything off of? You said it. HBO, Paradise Lost, Bojangles. Mm-hmm. I can debunk that.
How
I
long?
can debunk everything that they said in Paradise Lost and about Bojangles. I can take what I wrote down from the transcripts, and I can debunk everything. It was mass pandemonium, right? They were in a witch hunt for devil worshippers. Nothing was said about devil worshiping anything except by, I do believe, I'm going to hate when I say this because I'm not 100% certain, but it wasn't the police and it wasn't the media that said it. It was somebody else that brought up devil worshiping and stuff for it. But when they talked to Damien Eccles and everything, like he was talking about rituals and everything for it. Like the water, well, symbolizes, stuff for it. So I'm going to let you talk to the people for a minute while I go take a break real quick. Don't stop running. Just tell the people what you think happened. Because you weren't here, you were here, but you thought that they were innocent. So you keep telling the people why I'm taking a break real quick.
I mean, now that everything has been put out on the table for me, and the I don't necessarily want to say facts, but the facts, pretty much, the transcripts have been brought to my attention. There's no way, there's no way that they're not innocent, or they're not guilty. Whatever I'm trying to say, they took an Alfred plea, and I feel like if all of this has been shown, whether it was in court or not, I still feel like that Alfred plea should have been thrown out. And I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like the Alfred plea should have been thrown out. Especially when the necklace was found. I feel like that evidence should have been brought up in court. Simple as that.
So, after everything that I presented to you,
Mm-hmm.
all right, you change your mind?
Yeah, for sure.
100% change your mind.
Yeah.
So who did it?
The three boys.
Right?
Yeah.
There's no other way. There's literally no other way. And are there people that were put on death row, sentenced to life in prison, that were innocent? Yeah, there was.
Absolutely.
There's some that gotten out, right? But they got out based on what?
Facts.
New evidence.
And new evidence.
New evidence. It's been 11 years since they were released. And there's not a new evidence.
There's not gonna be. And like I said when you took your little break, I feel like the Alfred plea should have been thrown out.
It's been next May, May 5th, 2023, it will be 30 years.
It's just crazy.
Because, what is it, 93 to 2003, that's 10. 2003 to 2013, 20.
And then this will be 30 years.
Yeah, for 30 years. And in 30 years, no new evidence has came out.
Blows my
No
mind.
smoking gun has came out.
But they claim they have a smoking gun.
But they claim it. They claim that they have a smoking gun. They claim that they're innocent.
Do you have anything else?
No. Once again, this is my opinion, and my opinions are based off what I believe and facts that I know. I'll debate anybody on it. We can have an adult conversation about it. Don't get mad. Don't get, butt hurt. Mm-hmm. I'm not. You tell your facts. I'll tell you mine. But you can't. There's no way. You've seen the Facebook or TikTok, whatever it is, change my mind and stuff, and
I think
change my mind.
Yeah.
Because based off the facts and not Paradise Lost, you're guilty.
Yeah.
And they're guilty.
And I think that's crazy because I'm not one to change my mind. I'm not one to let somebody change my opinion.
Yeah.
But I walked in here not knowing much about it, other than there's a possibility that they couldn't have done it. And now I full force believe that they did it.
100%. 100%.
Well,
it was a satanic sacrifice, and you will never convince me otherwise. In those woods, they killed those boys. Damien Eccles is an evil man. Jesse Baldwin is an evil man. Or Jason Baldwin's an evil man. Jesse Misskelley's an evil man. I've seen evil in my life. I've been to Iraq, been to Afghanistan. I worked as a police officer and everything. I've seen evil.
Yeah.
Those men are evil. Those men are the definition of pure evil. Because they have convinced the masses that they're innocent. You know me. I'm a religious person.
Mm-hmm.
You know I am, right?
Mm-hmm.
The greatest trick the devil ever did was convince the world that he didn't exist. They convinced the world that they're innocent. They're not. They're not innocent.
My thing is like, in all of the movies that I have seen that involve the devil, or
Have you seen The Devil's Knot? Devil's Knot is based on the West Memphis 3. Reese Witherspoon played in that movie for it. I think she played like Pam Hobbs. I think is who she played.
Well, in all of the movies that I have seen, they always say the ritual. Mm-hmm. You need the blood of a sacrifice of the innocent.
Blood of the innocent.
And those 3 boys were innocent.
That just made me think of something. Damien Eccles, when he was at St. Vincent, said there's 2 type of people in this world. There are wolves and there's sheep. They're sheep. And wolves eat sheep.
Yep.
He's a wolf. 100% he's a wolf. And if I ever seen him, I'd tell him, yeah, I think you did it. Convince me otherwise.
Yeah.
Prove to me that you're innocent. You were there. Mm-hmm. Tell me something that I don't know. Where were you at that day?
Give me a real alibi.
Give me a real alibi that I can go fact check.
Yeah.
For it.
Can't do it.
You can't do it.
Can't do it.
Because if they could do it,
they wouldn't.
They wouldn't have took an Alford plea.
Right. There wouldn't be an Alford plea.
Wouldn't be an Alford plea. It'd be like, no, we want a retrial
because I didn't
do it.
And I want to prove that I didn't do this.
But he can get rich and famous off the fact that the world portrays him as innocent. So he's making money from people because he will portray himself as innocent. And he's not innocent. And he's convinced people of it.
Well, listen. We're going to wrap this up.
All right.
Our next episode is going to be paranormal.
It's going to be take 200 for our paranormal.
But that paranormal episode is the whole reason we changed the name. Literally.
Yeah, because we did it twice.
Yeah.
We recorded it twice.
And full on. Like, it wasn't...
One of which was on TikTok live for part of it. And
the second time we recorded, I mean, even the first time, it was a full on, like, went through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Had 2 hours of
audio.
Yeah. And half of it's gone.
Half of it, yeah.
That's some paranormal shit.
It happened twice.
It did. It happened twice. So now we're on to take 3, which is why we are now named Take 3.
Take 3 for it.
Would you like to close us out?
Shameless plug. Mando.tbl.
Sick of him.
But, I mean, once again, to everybody that's on TikTok or everybody that's listening to me on this, we can disagree. I'm not one of those type of people where I'm closed-minded, where you don't believe what I believe.
So we can't be friends.
Yeah. For it,
Because I could have sat right here and we could have debated on, let's say I believe that they're innocent. Yeah. And let's say you believe that they're guilty. Mm-hmm. We could have sat here, debated about this, done recording, walked out, still best friends.
Still best friends. For it. 100%.
That's just how it is.
100%, right?
Mm-hmm.
For it. And it's one of those, I'm not closed-minded at all. You tell me your opinion, I'll tell you my opinion. We can base everything, base what I believe to be fact, what you believe to be fact. And if your facts trump my facts, I got you. Yeah. And stuff for it. But, for what it all boils down to is there's three boys that were killed. And what bothers me about it is I can remember the name Stevie Branch, right? I don't remember the other 2 boys' names.
Yeah.
But I can tell you Damien Eccles, Jason Baldwin, Jesse Misskelley, right? But the other 2 boys, I can't remember their names, and that upsets me for it, right? Mm-hmm. And it just, they got lost in translation for it. They want justice. They claim they won't bring the true killers to justice. The true killers were at justice. They were Damien Eccles was sitting on death row, and that's where he needs to be.
Give me just a second. I'm looking up the names.
I know it's Stevie Branch and something.
Yeah, I know Stevie Branch, but...
And I'm ashamed to say that I don't remember the other 2 names. Like I am. I'm ashamed to say it.
Let's see. Well, I thought I could pull it up.
I can't because my phone's doing TikTok live right now. For it.
We're getting it before this podcast
before
ends.
before this podcast
Before it ends.
We'll get the other two names.
We've got Chris Byers.
That's it. Chris Byers,
Michael
Moore, and
Steve Branch.
Steve Branch. For it.
Well, to the family, I mean, I don't even know if they're gonna hear this, but to the family, like, sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
Like that.
Sorry for the last almost 30 years.
Especially because that's like being rubbed in their faces.
Yeah, that you have people that believe, and like I said earlier, you know, the sad part is some of the people that believe that the boys didn't do it. One of the guys, stepdad, dad, whatever he was, in the second episode of Paradise Lost, said no, them three boys didn't kill my boy. They didn't do it. He believed it. But look at the facts.
Yeah. You gotta look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And they're not.
Just the facts, ma'am.
Yeah.
You remember that old TV show back from the 50s or 60s, whatever it was? Just the facts, ma'am.
No, I don't.
Just show me the facts, and I got you.
Show me the car facts. Anyway, we're gonna close out. Hopefully the next episode will be paranormal and will be actually up on time. But anything else?
No, I think that's it for me on this one. For it, but
thanks for watching.
yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching on TikTok.
Yeah.
You know, and
hopefully video and audio will be up as well.
And if anybody's got anything they want us to do, if there's a case they want us to talk about, you know, send it to us.
Yeah.
If there's a topic on anything they want us to talk about other than political, you know, send it to us. Because this is going to be about all kinds of stuff.
If it's politics, you ain't getting it from me.
Man, I can talk. Look, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I can talk politics with y'all all day, but y'all ain't going to be happy with what I say. I'll tell you that right now. No matter if you're Republican, Democrat, whatever, you ain't going to be happy with what I say.
Well, hopefully this becomes a weekly thing. As soon as I get home, I'll listen through this and edit out what I can. What needs to be edited out. And hopefully it'll be up by today.
Hopefully so. So it's been real and it's been fun. It's been real fun. So
But gotta go.
Gotta go.
Gotta blast. All right, y'all.